Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to take just a couple minutes to respond to a comment I received on a video I just put out recently, responding to Zach George, trainers who say that not every dog responds to positive methods they're telling on themselves. Again, I talk about what defines a process. I talk about the jumping in point by way of those who identify as force-free and balanced dog trainers, and with trainers who superficially motivate dogs to respond at the very beginning once the relationship problems are already underway, while assuming that those responses represent that the perceptions of the dog are changing the right way, that how you're being perceived is changing. And again, I talk about how this is totally inherently flawed, this interpretive script, and that why it is so common for dog owners to invest time, money, and energy into this idea that trains a learning-based exercise only to discover the relationship has not improved, okay, that behavioral issues have not gone away. Understand this is part of the package deal. This goes along with this idea of things. And understanding that because there's so many trainers out there who are doing this by way of balance and force free, which comprise basically 99.8% okay, of all trainers out there, then this seems normal. Okay, blaming dogs, lack of results seems normal, and then this is where the offboarding, okay, the blaming dogs, because understand something that this is the collateral damage of this ideology that these trainers aren't going to look at or take a hard look at what they're doing and ask the questions they should ask at the beginning. It's just much easier for them based on the culture to blame the dog and continue to push forward. Meanwhile, the dog training world is coming apart at the seams. Now, this comment I received on this video really, okay, represents, what I've been saying, even in terms of how the word behavior is being misrepresented in the dog training world. And so this comment from this individual who obviously aligns with trainers like Zach George says, so basically you're saying you believe that dogs can't remember a trained behavior beyond the training session, and thus follow what people in the dog training world will call balanced dog training approach. So here's the thing. That's why I talk about behavior. Because my response is, well, how is that word being applied within the framework of superficial responses? Okay, just think about what I'm saying. Again, yes, you can get a dog to do a great sit, a down, a come and stay, in the middle of a relationship problem. Okay, as dogs are moving around the training environment, this is so common. This gap. Okay, this jumping in point with these trainers, they don't, when you show up with your dog, don't actually sit down or don't actually assess the relationship problem, because understand the two core ingredients I talk about, they're missing. Okay, influence and control. This is why when you get a dog on the leash, you watch my videos and you start to, interact the way that I show, it's all going to make sense. Okay, you can tie it in. You can connect that dot to say, okay, hold on here a second. This dog is, understands intent. This dog understands, what the intent is by way of how you're interacting. And you'll see challenge rise up to the surface. And then when you connect the dot to all the behavioral issues you're having, everything starts to make sense. This is where even that saying, you think about it, it's, my dog is pretty good, except, right? This is the common kind of when you get a phone call from people, because, the pretty good part, okay, is the deceptive nature of appearances. As a dog gains control in the relationship, the dog can look balanced, off leash as they're floating around your home. But again, consider the moments where the truth is revealed, okay? When control and influence is part of it, dog is expressing control over something. And then that's when you start to connect some dots. But all to say that for the trainers, when they're jumping into a relationship problem, it's typically using treats right away. They're motivating, they're incentivizing response. So those two core ingredients are not part of the assessment process. They're not part of the change process. It's all based on superficial response based on appearances. So this goes in this whole word, this issue about how this word behavior is even used by these individuals is totally misrepresented, misapplied, because these are just responses. Okay, the dog is moving around for something they want. How you even, because again, the question that people need to be asking these trainers, what's their criteria to establish, okay, beyond just superficial responses, what's their criteria to establish that the perception of these dogs are actually changing the right way, that what they're assuming is reality. Well, they're not. Okay, understand that is not, because those two core ingredients, they're gone. So they can't do it anyway. There's no way they can, they're assuming. And see, to understand the entire dog training world is based on this inherently flawed idea of what training is. And so no different. That's why I keep talking about the parent example. Consider, because really think about this, because it lines up at the social level in terms of the social aspect of the relationship. Think about a child that's selfish and a parent at that moment of the relationship is completely sideways. A parent is pulling out the Xbox games, getting the child to perform some good responses, and then they start using that word behavior. The child's behavior is getting better. Really? The child's responding because you're bribing them. Okay. Oh, well, how's that word how's that word even being used? It's the same thing. Okay, it's being misrepresented. So superficial. But understand, this is what the entire dog training world is based on. But understand something, the problem here with trainers and even with people who, buy into this idea of things, is understand this is so entrenched, this is so hardwired into the thinking, how people think, that they can't shake loose from it. They can't. I mean, to even when I'm talking about how that word behavior is misapplied, it's like it's almost like you have to do a kind of a deprogramming with people to get them out of this. So my encouragement to anyone watching my videos is connect the dots. I mean, these trainers, they do not connect any dots. They just don't care. I mean, it's gotten that bad. I mean, we're at that level now. But then look at the dog training world. You start looking around the dog training world and go watch my video series, Flipping the Script. I go through all these controversies. I connect all the dots. And this is what people don't want to hear, because it forces them, right, to reconsider what they're doing. And people aren't incentivized at this, where we're at now, to do the right thing, because why would you do the right thing when the wrong thing represents you're making all this money, the ego, the pride, you're invested through all the wrong. I mean, just think about it. I mean, to back out of it, a lot of these trainers, they can't back out of it. So I'm putting information out for dog owners. So if you're a dog owner, pay attention, because, you go to a balanced trainer, force-free trainer, understand something. When dog can look fantastic and feel really good, you get to engage, the process based on your emotions, everything feels good, but it's a bad deal. It's a bad deal on the other side, coming out of the other side, because you're left stranded, you're left in sometimes a worse position, and guess what? You're left holding the bag. So again, check out my website. Lots of great information. I talk about not just the problem, but the solution by way of a intentional interaction-based approach. Thanks for watching.